Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be, wherever you are from. Welcome. This is live Daily Takeaway, episode 12. Today's episode is going to be about football and the beautiful game. I myself am somewhat of an Arsenal fan. I used to support Arsenal more than I do now. For various reasons, I stopped caring about the outcome of Arsenal's games, and it had something to do with the toxicity of the fans booing Wenger out of Arsenal. And when that happened, considering that I think that man is a godsend and was a godsend to Arsenal, I could no longer really support the club just because of the fans. I just did not like the treatment that this man received after all the things that he had done, and it didn't sit well with me then, and it doesn't sit well with me now. And as a result, I don't really care one way or the other if Arsenal win or lose. I suppose when it comes down to it, I'd prefer them to win, but if they lost, I don't really care. If they were demoted, I would care because that would be devastating. But for the most part, I enjoy football and the beautiful game, and I am um I hold no allegiances. I'm outcome independent. I don't care which team wins, just as long as it's a good game. And if there's more goals, brilliant. So today's podcast, as I said, episode 12. If you're listening on YouTube, I will put in the comment section below links to the social medias of the guests. Today we have Tom, who is a Manchester United and Preston fan. And we have Paddy, who is a Manchester United fan. They will be joining me in a moment. I'm an Arsenal fan, so there's a little bit of rivalry there, Manchester United and Arsenal. They probably know more about the football and the current situation with English football than I do. As I said, I don't really follow anything anymore. If a football game is on, I will watch it. That's pretty much it. So without further ado, I will introduce Tom and Paddy. Hello,
In
Tom
that
and
long
Paddy.
race. Howdy.
So, as I just said, you are both Manchester United fans. Why
Yep.
and how
Yeah.
did you become Manchester United fans?
I'll let Paddy go first.
My father.
Your dad.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Tom?
Yeah.
Pretty much the same, really. Obviously, growing up, you latch onto the team that's doing well at the time, and growing up for me, it was United.
Mhm.
My dad
Our
was always an
supporter.
avid. my dad was my dad was always a fucking like. So he's always been a big advocate of support where you come from. So he's like a diehard North End fan. But obviously North End, not in the Prem, so it doesn't really make a difference to him if he follows United. So obviously I latched onto the following of United because obviously, as I said before, like when you're a kid, you hook onto those things. And that's where my love for United came from. And then I dropped off football quite a while, to be fair. Like I didn't really watch a huge amount. And then how long ago would you say, Paddy? Not last season, season before, I kind of got back into it a bit more.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Not too dissimilar from me. I mean, I support Arsenal because my dad supported Arsenal.
I think that's a big thing. I think kids tend to follow the team, for the most part anyway, tend to follow the team that their parents
Yeah,
follow.
because you're easily influenced by
Yeah.
what you're. Yeah, if your dad's watching football and he's watching his team play, and you're interested in football, you're going to sit down and watch it, and then you're going to grow for the love and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's a role model, and you adopt that sort of behaviour that your parents have, I suppose. Yeah, for me it was Arsenal. Half of my team. Sorry, I was about to call my family my team. Half of my family support Tottenham. So there's rivalries in our
Way.
family.
Yeah.
But I don't hate Tottenham.
I think as long as rivalries aren't taken too far to the point where you get the fucking yobbos at the end of a fucking football match lining up going, "Hey, I'll fight you, mate, I'll fight you."
Bro, I'm telling you for a fact now,
rivalries are healthy.
If my kid supports City, Liverpool, Arsenal, any rivalry of United, they're getting booted from my house. I'm telling you now for a fact.
Booed or booted?
That kid is not booted. That kid is no longer mine.
Every time he comes down for breakfast,
As
boo!
he kicks that house, boo.
Eat your cereal. Boo.
Kids getting put up for adoption.
Oh right.
I'm saying I'm done with it. Like that's it.
Disowned.
I'm joking.
Jesus.
By the way. Yeah,
I don't think he is.
I'm not. I don't think I am.
Deadly
either, to be honest.
serious.
I think I would fully do that. Yeah. Fully disown the child just for supporting a different club.
See, I don't support Arsenal as much as I used to because of the treatment Wenger had from the fans. And that's I don't know if that's a really pathetic way of not really supporting the club anymore, but I just didn't like the toxicity of the fans, and it never sat well with me. And then since then, I'm just like, I can't support a club that has a fan base as toxic as that.
I think that's
Every
one of the
football
big
club
things
has
at
it.
the minute. Yeah, like everyone, like I remember
Just can't
Paddy
do it.
going through on one of your streams. You went through all the what do they call them? The firms of football clubs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
oh, that's because we were looking at Danny from from America. He's like this. He wants to start the old school football firm thing up where they fight and stuff like that. And he's trying to start it in America. It was funny.
And it's just kind of dumb because, like, a football game to me, especially because obviously I've not really been on many like actual football games since I was a young kid. Like I was a season ticket at North End, like season ticket holder at North End for a while when I was younger. And obviously I've not been on, but we drive past North End on game days at times, and it's a family event. Like, you take your kids, you go get some food, you watch some good football, and then you go outside, and then you'll have a chat with your mates, you'll go to the pub or whatever. And these people are going just for a fight, in my opinion, are fucking degenerate idiots. They are the most useless fucking idiots in the world. What is the point?
I'm definitely not there with my Stone Island on. Come on, son, you want some?
You want some. But it is
I agree.
genuinely the biggest amount of bullshit you could possibly do. Not only are you ruining it for the fans that are there to have a good time, you're ruining it for yourself because you could potentially be getting arrested. You're wasting resources from the club by dragging stewards out when there could be something kicking off inside, or there could be someone who needs help inside. Like,
it's not even just that. It gives the fans a bad name.
Yeah.
Like, look at England against Italy once we lost. Like, all the England fans are trying to beat up everybody in a 5-second vicinity, and it's just stupid.
Yeah, that's not football to me.
Like, I get it. No. You're frustrated, but there's other ways to vent your frustrations.
You are no longer a football fan at that point. You're just a hooligan.
No, you're a hooligan. You're a mob, a yob, whatever.
I was watching a video earlier, I suppose it bears showing again, is Liverpool fans welcoming the team bus to Anfield before a Man City game. And if I put this on...
Oh, I've seen it. I know exactly video you're talking about.
And this happens...
the window.
Oh, this is a different one, but there is one where I can't remember what football team is arriving at Anfield, but they are hounded miles from the stadium. And it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And Wenger says that it's one of the reasons why Anfield is a fortress of football, and he says a fortress is just a football club's home ground that it's almost impossible to win at. And because Liverpool fans are so diehard and verbal and passionate, that Anfield has become perhaps one of the only stadium in the UK. In British football, that is potentially just impossible to win at. It used to be Manchester United and so on, but it's difficult to win at Anfield.
Liverpool aren't as good as everybody seems to think they are. Liverpool get lucky in many, many games. And Liverpool fans will hate that because it's a United fan that's saying it, but if they actually into it, they are. Their fan base is actually deluded as well, by the way. I'm just saying
Liverpool to me is a one-trick.
So this video I have coming up on stream now is just the scenes near the stadium, and this is a calm crowd. But look how much police they've got.
But they have to.
This is and this isn't football to me. That they've just got a humongous. This is right on the corner of Anfield. Anfield is in the background. This video is from 2019.
So when they were doing well.
And now it's just a sea of red smoke. asthma inhalers at the ready, gents. I would never take my child to something like this. I'd be fearful that they'd get crushed.
Listen, right? You know, if you take this back even further, take it back an extra year. Obviously, it was COVID then, but take it back 2 years, whatever.
Yeah.
This wasn't a thing. It's because they're winning. That's it.
I was going back before. Like, Liverpool is a one-trick pony. They've got Salah, who's got fucking legs, and they just push on the counter-attack, and they push on the counter-attack, and push on the counter-attack, and it's only going to be a matter of time before teams develop a tactic that will defeat them. Whether it be
they already did. United battered them in pre-season. Like 2 weeks ago, they beat them 4-0.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, whether it be a case, and United will go into the season happy with that, and I think they're going to win their games against them. Because they, as we said, unless Liverpool pull something out of the bag, they go, fuck me, this now isn't working, because the likes of Chelsea, City, and Arsenal clock onto that and kind of start using it as well. That's why I'm really indecisive as to where Liverpool are going to finish this season. Because I genuinely think it's not even down to Liverpool's talent. I genuinely think it's down to every other club's talent on whether they can combat their counter-attacking.
It's not even that, right? If Liverpool need a midfielder, their midfield is very
Who have they got right now?
Let's say poor. Thiago, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson. I can't. Keita, who probably struggles to get into most sides. Like their main three, if one of them gets injured for a prolonged amount of time, their midfield's knackered. Yep. If Salah gets a big injury, yes, they've got Darwin Núñez, yes, they've got Firmino, and they've got Jota and the rest of them, but they're not as good as Mane was. I'll say that now. Mane's better than both of Jota and what's the Donny's name?
Now.
Yeah. But I hate Liverpool fans just because they're, for a better word, they're cunts. Every single one of them. I've got family members that are Liverpool fans, and I still think they're cunts, and I've told them they're cunts every time I see them. I can't stand Liverpool fans. There's just something about them that really gripes me.
I don't know if I've got many issues with fans in particular, other than just Arsenal fans, my own team's fans. That's who I have the biggest issue with.
Every club has that, though.
It's a shame.
I don't necessarily have a hatred or a dislike to anyone that supports the team, because realistically, that's what made, like, if you had everyone support one team, we wouldn't have football, because people wouldn't have the funds to keep grounds open, to buy players, to keep things. And obviously, I'm sure you'll get into that at the later point. I think they're overpaid fucking pretentious assholes for the most part, and that's the players, not the fans. But there's a lot of stuff in regards to the fans, and yeah, there's a few that'll go overboard and they'll be die hard, and I have to live by the badge, die by the badge, fucking FIFA Pro teams, like kind of shit. But I don't dislike them. I kind of disagree with what you're saying there, buddy, because obviously you are going to get some that are dicks, and unfortunately, that is the majority that are, for the most part, on any club. But then you do get some that are there just for the joy of football and are fans because they live in that area, they've supported that team their entire life, generations and generations and generations. And it's that age-old saying of it's the few who spoil it for the many.
Yeah. I'm not saying all Liverpool fans are cunts, but most of them.
You just said in the previous sentence, all Liverpool fans are cunts.
I don't know all the Liverpool fans in the world. Yeah, but I don't know all the Liverpool fans in the world, but the ones I do know, they're cunts.
If you're editing this video, Crowder, can we just get a little snippet of that and then him say
no. I'll say it. No, but it's right what you say, because obviously, what? You take a 3-year-old child to a football match, he's not going to be a cunt, is he, just because he's a Liverpool fan? Might be, probably is. Will grow into one, but it's like United fans are terrible for it. Every club's got, we're all a little bit cuntish.
I genuinely think, and I'm not saying all in all cases. I genuinely think that Premiership teams are worse. And I think it's more for the fact of, if you have, and I'm not saying all, if you have, let's say, 20 people from Manchester, 20 people from Preston, 20 people from London who all travel to go watch Man United, the 10 people from Manchester, I would say anyway, I don't have proof, but it's just sort of like something that I would think anywhere, or I would like to see, is those 20 people from Manchester are going to be more respectful of the grounds, of the people, and of the entire event than those from Preston or London or Southport or wherever the fuck they come from, because they don't have that tie to the city, if that makes sense. Because obviously United games get travelled to from all over the country and potentially all over the globe. Yeah, like people travelling to go watch the game. But then on the flip side of that, let's say you've got someone who once in a lifetime travelled from America, been a lifelong supporter of United, travels to the game. They're going to sit and they're going to watch.
Don't even get me started on Americans watching football.
They're going to sit and they're going to watch intently, and they're going to be excited to be there. So they're not going to want to kick up a fuss. They're not going to want to cause problems. They're there to enjoy the game. So there's two sides to the coin. It's a very, like, realistically, we could spend the entire rest of the podcast talking about this. But I think each person's different, and you would like to think those in the area would be more respectful.
Hey, Mikey, how are you, dude?
The staff,
welcome.
The game, of the stadium, just property in general, and wouldn't want to cause a scene and make their club look the fool.
I don't know. Harry Maguire still pulls on a United shirt, so.
Yeah, I suppose the reason why I don't support Arsenal is a bit silly, but at the same time, yeah, I just did not like the fact. I didn't like it, and that distance.
Do you know what the worst
thing is? And I feel
is?
better about it.
Arsenal fans are the first ones that really took off with the whole YouTube thing and having the YouTube channel.
Arsenal TV,
yeah, that's where the whole stigma thing comes in for a lot of Arsenal fans, where they're like, we hate the fans. It's because you get a few that put themselves and publicize their thoughts straight after the game, which is stupid. Like, I do it all the time. I'm terrible for it. I'll watch a game and I'm like, I'm
doing okay.
Shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll go mad. Arsenal fans then put it on a recording, put it on the internet for everybody else to laugh at.
But I've not given her much to reply to. I'm letting
United
her
fans
wait.
That do that now. There's clubs up and down the country that do that. Arsenal fans were just probably one of the first ones, or the big note ones.
We're talking about that big big black guy.
Robbie. Yeah, Robbie.
Yeah. No offense to him, but like he doesn't come across me as the smartest cookie in the jar.
Oh no, he's incredibly smart.
You think
he knows if he why would he keep these characters around like DT and the rest of them? Don't really care for most of them, but why would he keep these characters around if he knows he's not? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a businessman. He's got this in mind where he's like, yeah, he'll get me views because he'll say something stupid, and 10 weeks down the line when it happens again, everyone will go back to that same video and rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch. It's very clever.
What's this video, Tom?
I've just sent, because obviously just going off fans and over to the players, but it also relates back to the fans. I don't know whether any of you saw it. It was on 5 Live or heard it on 5 Live, and it was Freddie Flintoff basically going on about what he hates about the football and why it's so expensive. And obviously, I'll let the video just explain it. But
at 5 p.m. today.
This is like my biggest issue with it all.
Football's so expensive because of
the
cost
expensive.
of everything around it.
Well, obviously, I'll let Crowder play the video, and then obviously,
I'm not sure if I'd be allowed to through copyright. It would have to be something.
Copyrights, BBC. Yeah.
Can you not play the audio for it?
I think that's probably the copyright.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But basically, what he's going on about is like you've got all these lads that are off to go watch football. They're working their nut off every single day in, day out, to go pay for a ticket. Let's say United. We were having a look the other day, Paddy. What was it just for a single game?
What, for a United ticket?
Yeah.
Like 60 quid.
I was going to say, is it 60? I was just whispering. Is it 60?
So he's working his ass off all week. He's got to pay all these bills, whatever. And then you've got these lads on 150, 300 grand a week. And
but it's not even just that, right? Because it's £60 for your ticket, right? And this is me coming from East Midlands to Manchester. It's going to cost me £60 for my ticket. Then it's going to cost me £30 for my return train. Then I'm going to want at least 100, 150 quid for the day for my drinks, food,
and if you
maybe an extra 100 quid if I want to go in the shop. Yeah, so you're talking like 500 quid a week just to go and watch your team.
Well, obviously, I mean, you're not going to go spending 100 quid in store every week, but obviously, I get where you're coming from.
No.
But it's the whole aspect of. And
hey,
then
for
you've got to
£60
go
a week,
inside.
I'm not watching the game.
And then you've got to go in, and then they'll charge you a tenner for a burger. Right?
And the rest is, I think it's about 11 quid, for a hot dog.
So a tenner for a burger, and then it's costing you a fiver for your pint, and you have 2 of those, so you're 20 quid deep already. And then when you're leaving, you got your little lad or your little girl pulling on your arm, going, "I'm hungry. I want a bag of chips," costing you a fiver for that. So you're 25 quid deep, as well as your 60 quid. So you're 100 quid just for your food and drink, right?
Yeah.
And your ticket. Why is it so expensive to go watch lads run around? Like, those that go in, week out, are getting suffered and price increases all the time, whether it be season tickets, whether it be day tickets, whether it be fucking food, whether it be kits. Like, we had a look at kits the other day, Paddy. 100 quid for a replica shirt that cost them about a fiver, if that.
But that's for the shirt that they wear.
Yeah, that's for the shirt they wear. But it's still 70 quid for the shirt they don't wear. That's a slightly different shade of red, right? It costs them fiver, if that, to make that fucking shirt, right? I am sorry. I understand that they've got their own bills, they've got their own maintenance, they've got so on. But football, where does it stop? When does a new record for a transfer sale stop? When does a new record for a wage increase stop? When does a new record for a manager getting a bonus, or the execs getting a bonus, or whatever, making it harder and harder and harder for those that are your working class, that are your supporters from day one, that have bought all the shirts, all the tickets, turned up to every game, and getting fucked for it?
Well, this is why a lot of people are saying, like, instead of wasting money and going to watch a Premier League game, a champion, because it's not just the Premier League that is a victim of this. Not the victim, the one that's pushing it forward. The Championship clubs do it. Yes, it's not on the same level as the Premier League, but that's because they don't have the TV rights and all that sort of stuff. But if they did, it'd still be on the same similar level. It falls all the way down, and this is why a lot of people say, if you are into football, you should go and look at your local non-league side.
No,
because for the same price, right, of just a ticket, for the same price of just a ticket for a Premier League club, say 50 quid, 60 quid, you're having a full day out. You're having 5 or 6 beers in the club's bar. You're watching the full game. You're getting a better game for it as well, because of the experience that you're having.
Yeah, you're closer to the pitch. Like, so I know.
Hey, I went to watch my local team.
It was like Bamber Bridge against Preston. Was like, I think James was saying it was like 12 quid a ticket. And it was a pre-season warm-up thing. And North End had gone, because they do it every year. They play Brick. And it was like 12 quid a ticket. Dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap.
Do you remember
I went to my local match, and it cost me 30 quid for the night. I met the owner of the club. It was Alfton Town versus Forest. Forest were in the Championship. It was just a pre-season friendly game. But I met the owner of of Alfton. I met the manager for Forest at the time. I met some of the players. Mate, I was giving Forest goalkeeper stick. He told me he was going to jump over the railings and smash my head in. I was laughing at him the whole game because Alfton ended up winning it. I think it was like 3-0. And I was absolutely wetting myself. I was giving the goalkeeper some right shit, mate, honestly. But that experience was so much more than what you'd get if you went to a big game, honestly.
Yeah.
For 30 quid. Like, that's half price of the ticket.
So what we're doing really essentially is playing the players' wages. That's basically what we're doing. Indirectly paying the players' wages.
You're paying the players' wages and then some.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I understand they've got overheads. They've got the staff inside that are doing the food vending. They've got the cleaners. They've got the stewards. They've got the ball boys, etc. But for the most part, most clubs, the ball boys are fucking free anyway.
Yeah, because they're kids from the academy.
Yeah. Do you remember when Messi was under contract at Barcelona? and it was going to cost 300 million and then some to buy him out of his contract.
Yep.
One man worth
Mate,
300 million.
Pedri, who's 17, 17, 18. Pedri, who plays for Barcelona currently, his buyout is $1 billion.
Why?
So like for me, the way to
You tell me.
eliminate this, and it would never happen, is put all the players on
Wage cap.
no, put every single player, no matter what league you're in, couldn't care less. Put every single player on $1,000 a week, right? $4,000 a month.
happen?
That's more than enough to live on. Most people in the fucking world do that. But you put every player on $1,000 a week, and you will then see a rise in quality of football, because those that are in it for the cash and aren't willing to put the effort in when the cash dries up will fuck off, and those that are in it for the love of the game, because they love it, the passion. If they don't play football that week, it kills them. They will stay and they will thrive, and they won't get smothered by this fucking charade of fucking pageantry that is surrounded by football. Because it's a pageantry at the minute. I have a bigger car, I have a bigger house, I have a brand deal. Stick me on FIFA and I'll run around a pitch. I mean, look at Maguire. Maguire is not fit to be in the United team. He's fit to be in a championship team.
He's not even fit to be in a championship team, mate. He's been relegated, I think, 3 times in his career.
But I think he'd be more suited to a championship team than a Premier League team.
Yeah.
He is not the Maguire that like. If he played at the same standard he played for England, he'd be fine in the United team. But he doesn't, and I don't know whether that's because it's a pride thing or whether it's a.
He's been quite good this preseason. He's been quite good. Whereas last preseason, he was shambolic. He played in preseason like he played in the league. So I'm hoping, because he's been playing quite well, it might follow suit. But I think it comes down to coaching as well.
Do you think that was a manager issue now that Ten Hag's come in? He's kind of booked his
Ten
ideas.
Hag's come in.
Ten Hag's come in
and he's basically laid down the law.
Yeah,
who is the Manchester United?
Ten Hag.
Eric Ten Hag.
Who the hell is that?
And then sort of gone, if you don't fucking do this,
Ajax manager.
Okay.
Like you're out of the squad kind of thing.
Ex-manager. Yeah. So basically, there's rules. Let me just find them. He's come in and he's set down these rules at United. So here it is. Let me just whip them up. Oh, I think the ball to Ronaldo. Necessary. No. See, that's what Rangnick did. That's what Solskjaer did. No, you don't do that. So players will be dropped if late for training or team meetings. Doesn't matter what your status is. So you could be Ronaldo. If you're late, you're not playing. Yep. Simple. Alcohol is permitted during game weeks. So no alcohol. You're not allowed to drink even a glass of wine. No. All players must eat what is prepared by the club chefs. So when he came over, he bought his own like meal plans for all the players, and they have to eat strict to that diet. Their BMI is checked every month, and if they're not on track, then they don't play.
Yep.
Players to address complaints directly to him rather than their agents, because last season there was a lot of players that kept telling their agents they're not happy with the club, they're not happy with this, we're not happy with that. Pogba was one of them, Lingard was the other.
Yeah.
And luckily they've gone now. But yeah, there is 5 rules that he bought in. Yeah. He's at Juventus.
Okay. So lots gone on. So those were the 5 rules. No more than that.
No more than that. There's 5 simple rules.
Yeah. I think by not overcomplicating it, if anything, it's made it better. Instead of it like it's straight to the point, because there's nothing worse than a set of rules where it's written in such a manner that it can be misinterpreted or amended to fit a narrative of a player. If they're dead set
that's
rules,
what the media
like,
doing.
You have to eat this, you have to turn up at this time, you have to do this. There's no circling around the point. It's there. Like, you show up to these 5 points, you play. If you don't show up to all 5 of these, even if you miss one, you're out. You're not playing.
Well, that's what the media do constantly, don't they? They
breed
false information and scrutinize everything. Like the whole thing with Ronaldo not going on preseason. I'm sorry, people need to remember the geezer lost a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like what, 3 months ago, and had a game off and then came straight back into training the day after.
Yeah, I think him taking the time off there was the right thing to do, 100%.
And everyone's like, "Oh, he wants to go. He's told everybody he wants to." Where has he told this? Like, I'd love someone to tell me that, he said, "I want to leave." I just think there's certain things that are very, very stupid, and
until it actually comes out via the club.
Well, this is the thing as well. That's what I've said, that things need to happen. The players need to be more. What's the word? There's a word for it, but they need to come forward and be like, "Yeah, I'm not happy. I want to leave. I want this. I want that." You know what I'm saying? So
more forthcoming.
instead of going through their agents and telling their agents, "Oh, I want to leave," and then their agents basically coming out with some shit, and then it just because it's not a good look, honestly. If you don't want to play, you don't want to play. That's fine. Like, I'd rather you be honest with me and tell me. Like, Pogba was one of my favorite players at United. I fucking love the guy. I think he's brilliant. But
he was a loose cannon.
It's not that he's a loose cannon. He's just.
I think he lacked discipline.
Yeah, but when you have. So the way I look at it, and I look from a footballing perspective, when you're 16 years old, you leave, you go to Italy, you go to Juventus. At the time, Juventus had Andrea Pirlo, Arturo Vidal, Marchisio. They had that structure around him where he didn't need to be structured. He didn't need to be disciplined. He could do what he wants because he had the players behind him that could then cover for him. France, he has the same thing with Kante. At United, he comes to United, and who's he got to fall back on? Fucking Scott McTominay. Like, I understand people's frustrations with him, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's not hit the highs that he did at Juventus." He didn't hit any highs at Juventus. He played better at United than he did for Juventus. You just got the odd highlight reel where he pinged a shot in from 45 yards. That's all you got. Because these people that are making these assumptions about him, are you telling me you've watched every single game that Pogba played at Juventus? No. Did you, fuck? You barely probably watched a highlight. It's just stupid.
So the Manchester United manager, why is he the ex-manager of Ajax? Did he lose his job?
No, he left at the end of the season.
Oh, did he run out of contract? His contract ran out, or?
No, United just wanted him, so we paid the money and got him out of his contract.
Oh, okay.
Ten Hag's probably one of the most exciting managers in football since Guardiola. Just because of how good he actually is.
How do you spell his name?
Tenhag. Between 2013 and 2015, he was at Bayern with Pep Guardiola.
So was he the assistant manager?
He was part of his coaching staff and then got the Bayern second team's job. But his win percentage is ridiculous. Like at Ajax, so he started at Ajax in 2017. He's played 215 games, won 158 of them, drawing 28 and losing 29. He's got an average win percentage of 73.5. Plus, in that time, making two teams that are good enough to go to the later stage of the Champions League.
Have to see how well that goes.
I don't think it's going to be an instant success, and I've said this. I think United fans should look towards what Liverpool did with Klopp, give him a year, because he needs to sort that team out. It's not been coached properly for the last 5 years. And get rid of some of the deadwood. He's already started, but when Phil Jones is still in the team, and players like that, then he needs to fully, analyze the squad. But obviously, it just depends what the owners are going to do. If the owners aren't going to back him, they've backed him so far, but we're still waiting on Frankie de Jong, which is stupid. It's been a month now, I think. We still need a striker. Luckily, we're looking at Benjamin Sesko, who's going to be absolutely disgusting. People keep putting him on the same track as Haaland. Haaland's a beast.
I can't get behind Haaland.
You have to. He's a joke. I don't think he's going to rip the Premier League up.
No.
I know he's a joke though.
But I think that's my thing. Like, I don't think he's going to rip the Prem up. And I think because of that, that's going to be detrimental to his career in the future, because everyone's got him in their head as this wonder child that he's going to be the best thing since sliced fucking bread. And I just can't see it happening, personally.
If Haaland scores 20 goals this season, he'll see that himself as a flop.
Yeah.
I mean, Haaland's record, right, since breaking through to the first team, Byrne or Brian or whatever, he left them, didn't score a goal. But for the second team, he scored 18 and 14. He went to Mulder, Solskjaer's Mulder at the time. Played 39 games, scored 14 goals. He went to Salzburg, 17 goals in 16 games. He set the Champions League alight. That's the season that everybody kind of got onto him, was like, this kid's going to be great. He went to Borussia Dortmund, like turned down a lot of clubs, went to Borussia Dortmund, scored 62 goals in 67 games. In a team where I wouldn't put it's not touching Bayern. I wouldn't even say that team gets top 4 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That Dortmund team. So to score 62 goals in 7, but again, it's the German league, and German league's not that great.
Oh,
so it'll be interesting to see how it
can
does.
the German league hold a light to Prem?
I mean, it's better than, Spanish league.
It's better than most. Yeah, I'll give you that. But can it hold?
No, nothing can hold against the Premier League, because the Premier League's the best league in the world.
I wonder if the Premier League has got the most money in it compared to the other leagues, or is that or is that not true? It'd be an interesting statistic to read.
So City were the second richest club in the world, and Newcastle now are the richest club in the world. So just for those two clubs alone, money. Chelsea have just been bought out by Bowley, who bought them for like 2.something billion. Kroenke's got a fair bit of money behind him. Everton have got a fair bit of money. Forest have got a fair bit of money. United have money-grabbing owners.
So here it says Barcelona is still the richest, but I don't believe that, because I'm pretty sure they're in debt right now.
They are by like 2.6 billion, I think it is.
And Real Madrid, I'm pretty sure they were struggling too, but I don't know. Bayern Munich. Real
Madrid won the Champions League last year.
Manchester United. Liverpool. Yep. Manchester City. Net worth of 4 billion. Are we talking net worth as in like accumulative players or
players? Yeah.
Chelsea,
stadium.
Arsenal worth more than Paris Saint-Germain. I'm surprised. Tottenham Hotspur 2.3 billion. Where did they get the money from?
The stadium, mate. The stadium's like ridiculous. Plus, then you've got your key. It just depends who's making these things, right? Like
statistics.
Are you like, is it a footballing person that's making all of these, or is it just somebody that's insuring things? Do you know what I mean? Like, the stadium's worth this much.
So, I guess you can't talk about football without mentioning Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Who do you think is the better out of the two?
Ronaldo.
What are your reasons?
Gifted. Messi's gifted, and he is probably the most gifted footballer I've ever seen in my life. Ronaldo's worked for it. Ronaldo can do more things that Messi can't. Messi can dribble, yes, great. He can shoot, great. He can score free kicks, great. Tiny, can't jump for a ball. That's what it falls down to for me. Messi's gifted. Ronaldo works for it. That's why Ronaldo's done it in several different leagues. Messi can barely do it in the Farmers League.
I think most people could agree that Messi, beyond a certain point, Barcelona was being built around Messi, for Messi, to facilitate Messi, whereas most teams have not been built to facilitate Ronaldo. Ronaldo's been
debatable on that. I think Ronaldo makes it about him.
Mm-hmm. But the team to be specifically built...
The team's not built around him.
But I think a lot of times, and I think it's just sort of the way he is, I think Ronaldo will force a team to play around his style, or he won't put the effort in.
I think that's just more of him knowing his body, knowing he can't do the things that he used to be able to. Because, I mean, like, look at Ronaldo, and I always go back to it, it's the greatest team in the Premier League that has ever seen, that I've ever seen, and I was there for Arsenal Invincibles, United 99. The 08 United team was just on a different breed.
We can look
Ronaldo,
at
being a part of that, he wasn't the best player. The best players for me personally were Rooney and Tevez, the workhorse, both of them.
Paris Saint-Germain, Messi at Paris Saint-Germain, 26 appearances, only 6 goals. Whereas his last season with Barcelona was 35 appearances, 30 goals. That's just... He's sort of proven there that he can't do it in another league.
Yeah.
Whereas Ronaldo...
It's not all about him at PSG, is it? Like, that's the thing as well.
I'm
Barcelona, it's all about him.
Dip out.
Okay.
There's a little one who...
Thank you very much, Tom, for chipping in.
I hope it all goes well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll catch you all later.
Laters.
Peace out.
What were you saying, Paddy?
Barcelona, it was all about him. Whereas at PSG, it's not all about him. There's Neymar, there's Mbappe.
Yeah. I wonder why he chose to go to PSG. People seem to think that it's because Neymar was there too. But yeah, money. Probably.
Because if I'm Messi, right, and I still think Pep Guardiola. I think Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers ever. If I'm Messi and I know Pep's interested in me, which he is, I'm going to go and reunite that. I don't care if the Premier League destroys. Like, if I can never play again after that season, I for that one season, I'm going to play in the Premier League with Pep.
I wonder when Messi's contract ends.
I think he's got a 3-year deal, so I think it's another 2 years on it.
Right. He signed for Paris in 2021. Let's see if we can find any. Desire to leave Barcelona in 2020. Paris Saint-Germain.
He didn't have any desire to leave Barcelona. But the thing is as well, like,
Messi
could have re-signed. No, he could have re-signed. He needed to get that dressing room to lower their contracts and himself lower his contract, and he could have re-signed. Do you know that the minute Barcelona have just signed Lewandowski, Rafinha? I think they're on final talks with Bernardo Silva from City. But bearing in mind which all of these transfers that they've made this season is from money that nobody knows from where. Yet they're making all these signings, and yet if this was a different club, financial fair play and UEFA and everything would be straight in on them. But they can't register their players without certain players of that's already at Barcelona taking a wage cut, and the players that are at Barcelona don't want to take a wage cut. Frankie de Jong's one of them.
Doesn't want to take a wage cut. They can afford to live on less, so live on less.
But then it's the argument of, oh, if you can do it this time, you can do it the next time, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. It's almost as if they're saying, oh, you were worth this once, but now you're not worth it anymore because we've got this new guy that wants to come in. You know what I mean? Like, there's a different word. It demotivates you, almost.
I suppose the talk of the town at the moment, and that's in the ether, is the England women's national football team. That's the final, England versus Germany.
I watched a single game.
You've not watched a single game?
Nope, don't watch women's football. I don't like it.
So you're not watching the final?
No, I'm watching United Vallecano instead.
Okay, I might give the England football team a go and watch it on the other screen and do it live and see if anyone else is in chat, because that would be great. I might even do that.
Your title.
Yeah. Not quite sure what I'd need to do. I'll do that in a minute when I stop recording this segment. But the argument here is with the women that they complain that they're not earning as much as the men. and I can understand why. And this sort of debate is going on in a lot of sports. Unfortunately, the money surrounding the women's game is tiny in comparison, and the players earn a percentage of the total revenue of that sport.
Well, it's because there's not as big names, and it's not as publicized as the men's.
Mm-hmm.
And this might come off as sexist, but it's not. But it's just not as good. Like, watching women's football for me is like, I'd rather watch kids play. Honestly, like, it's not the same level of intensity.
The amount of women and sport, the amount of teams and the amount of games and so on that these women play, as a percentage, they actually earn more per game than men do. As an overall percentage, I believe. Same sort of debate came up in tennis when the women's tennis were complaining that they weren't earning as much money as the male tennis players did at Wimbledon, because they earned X and the men earned Y, and they was like, well, why are they being paid more for winning? You know, why are they winning more? And it's because the women didn't factor in that actually the men play to 5 sets, the women play to 3, so they actually play more tennis.
Yeah,
they play more tennis, and that's why. And they're like, oh, well, okay, fair enough. You know, we don't actually play as much tennis as they do, so yeah, they potentially play 2 more sets than we do. That would make sense. But the same thing with football is that all of these women, advocates for women's rights and equality, I'm all for that. All for it.
So
but why should they be paid the same amount as the men when their sport as a whole, from all of its revenue as a sport as a whole, wouldn't be able to afford that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to. You get paid a percentage of the total sports revenue. And you were right earlier. Like Freddie Flintoff is right, and Tom was right that the prices of the players are going up. The clubs need to pay their players, so they keep hiking the prices of the tickets up. And you're right, like £60 for I can't remember how much we paid to watch Arsenal back in the 90s, but it wasn't that much.
No, it was like 20 quid. 20, 30 quid.
And
I remember my dad went to watch United Deportivo Champions League game when Beckham broke his metatarsal just before the World Cup. I think he paid 27 quid for a Champions League game ticket.
That's crazy.
Mate, I've said it and I'll say it again. Our generation will see the first £1 billion player. There will be a £1 billion player.
You got a question,
and that's when football will just be done.
Well, you've got a £1 billion player to buy him out of his contract now. You mentioned, right? That 17-year-old.
No one will ever pay that.
Yeah,
no one will ever pay it. But it will get to the point where this player will be that good. Like, say he's smashing all the records at, 17, 18. Someone will do it. Like, but this goes back to the Mbappe contract, and I cannot agree with the Mbappe contract. I can't find any way that it's feasible that a player now has authority over a manager. It's incredible to me. Mbappe can't even lace Messi or Ronaldo's boots, never mind his own.
What's happened with the Mbappe contract?
So Mbappe is now the sporting director at PSG, which means he gets the final say on signings, the manager, and all of this.
Why?
Because the PSG wanted to keep him, and that's what it took to keep him. It's stupid. But
the
say
vanity.
we've just lived in a generation of two of the greatest players that's ever graced the game in Messi and Ronaldo, and yet this 22, 23-year-old kid has more things thrown at him than these two ever did. It's beyond me.
Yeah, that seems crazy that he's now the sporting director of a football club. No offense to anybody, but I don't even think he's that good. I mean, he's he can be lethal, but I don't think he's that good.
Yep, he's not.
I've never understood the hype about him personally.
No.
But he's hit and miss, just like so many other strikers are. But I don't think I know he's quick, but
I'd understand it if he was in a better league than the French league. But the French league is absolutely key. It's the worst league in football.
yeah. So you're not going to watch the Lionesses on principle?
Nope.
You find it boring?
It's not on principle. United are playing, so I'd probably have it on in the background, maybe, but I'd rather watch United.
I might give that a watch, but yeah, like in terms of like football as a sport, I've got to admit, I'm finding it increasingly more boring watching football. I don't know why. I just am. Maybe I'm just getting old and senile or bored. But I enjoy watching other sports now. I think it's because it's novel and I'm not used to it. And when you're not watching good football, for me, I don't know why, I just feel like switching off because it's boring. Like, that's why I like watching FA Cup games, because the games actually mean something.
Yeah.
David versus Goliath.
I like FA Cup.
You know, a non-league team versus a Premiership team. You know the game is going to be one-sided, but there's still a chance.
Yeah, there's always a chance, and I love it. But that's football in general, right? Like, there's always a chance.
Yeah, that's probably why the Premier League is the best league in the world, because on any given day, one team can beat the other.
Yeah.
As happens. Because I don't even know if there's ever been a team in the Premier League that's finished with 0 points.
I don't think there is.
So there's always a chance. I mean, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Premier League. We'll go Premier League.
I think
table.
Derby County are the lowest points total. Yeah. 11 points they got in 07-08. I remember it. That's the lowest ever.
And that must have been because they just had no money to compete.
Yeah, well, they would have got money for coming up, but they'd have they just didn't have a good season, honestly.
So the current league this year, who are the newcomers? Nottingham Forest.
They are. I'm going to say this now, and it's very controversial, but they're going to finish top half of the table.
Nottingham Forest. I remember it's been a long time.
The players they've signed are incredible, honestly.
It's been a long time since they've been there. It was a long time since Leeds were in, but now they're back. Same thing with Crystal Palace. Were Brentford the new ones in, or who came up this year?
No, Brentford came up a couple of years. The new ones this season are Bournemouth, Forest, and I think there's one more. The other one, Fulham. They're the three.
So Fulham are back.
Yep.
Let's have a look at usually go BBC Football and go through the tables there. Oh, this is I want to check out. No, close. So we can go. I want to see what. Can I see La Liga? What teams finished last? No, we can't, because it's going to show this year's.
What are you trying to find?
Just like the results of each of the leagues. 2021 Football League tables. Oops. Seeing who finished when, why, and how from 2021. But it's just showing this year's. Never mind.
Send you a Premier League table.
2021. This is 2021-22, isn't it? So I'm gonna have to go.
That's the Premier League table there.
So Real Madrid
last season.
So Real Madrid won Sky Sports. Okay. So Man City won by a point. Close. Yep. Tottenham Hotspur beat Arsenal into the top 4 spot. Yep. Manchester United fell off quite some way, didn't they, towards the end? 11 points off 5th. But 35 points off top. That's crazy.
It just shows the different caliber of signings. And I think this season, Arsenal are going to move up 2 places. United are definitely going to move up some places. I don't think Liverpool are going to be up there. Man City are going to be up there. Chelsea are probably going to finish 5th. Tottenham maybe 5th. Hate Tottenham. But Arsenal, I watched the highlights. Arsenal looked really.
Bundesliga. I'm assuming Bayern Munich finished top.
Bayern, yeah.
And they finished top by 8 points over Borussia Dortmund, who had Haaland. Now they don't have him. But Bayern Munich also don't have their talisman in Lewandowski, do they?
They don't need him.
I wonder why he chose to go to Barcelona. Money? Money.
I think it's more. Barcelona don't have money. It's I think it's more of a challenge thing for him.
He should have come to the Premier League.
It would have been lovely. Honestly, I'd have loved it. But
it should have gone. But yeah, I suppose all the talent can't come to the Premier League. It's just impossible.
It's more of their ages, I think, as well. Like Lewandowski, I think, is like 33, 34. So, for him to come to the Premier League and all it takes is one bad tackle and he's done then.
So AC Milan won the Italian league. Juventus finishing 4th. I didn't know that. What other leagues are there? League PSG probably by some margin, I imagine. By 15 points.
Yep.
Look at it, yeah. What other good leagues are there? What's the Dutch league? I can never remember that.
The Eredivisie.
Yeah, that's it. I was just Eredivisie, and Ajax finished top by 2 points over PSV Eindhoven. And now, of course, the manager's left, right?
Now at United, yep.
So who is the new manager?
Kick off as well. Lovely.
Right.
I can't remember.
So I'm to leave you to watch your game, right? Or are you watching it on the computer?
No, I have to go downstairs. It's on
TV. All right. Well, I hope it goes well. Thanks for joining in on the podcast, though.
First, mate, we'll have to do a part 2.
Yes. That would be good. I shall speak to you later.
Come on.
All right, later. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Paddy, and earlier on, Tom, both Manchester United fans, both passionate fans by the sounds of things, far more passionate in regards to football than me. I've sort of simmered down in my passion to football. I think partly because I don't really care about the outcomes anymore. Because the results of the football can only be decided on that weekend. You fast forward another year and it's back to square one, and old rivals start again. United. There's a mock football sort of segment done by the BBC. 2 comedians on the BBC, Mitchell and Webb, I think. Mitchell and Webb football. If you check this out on YouTube, it's Watch the Football, That Mitchell and Webb Look. And it's a comedy take on just football, the results of football. And if you're looking for a good laugh this Saturday, it'd be nearly 2 minutes of comedy for you. Highly recommend. It's Watch the Football, That Mitchell and Webb Look. If you're listening to this on YouTube, then if you load up another browser and watch that sketch about the football, is very amusing, and it does. In comedy has a habit of highlighting reality in, well, not only amusing ways but very accurate ways, and it's a very accurate representation of football to a point, and then it kind of loses it after a while, but it sums up football to a T. In the summary, the results don't matter. Only for that weekend do they matter, and then the next weekend you've got to do it all over again. And then for that season, you've got to do it all over again. So for me, I'm not bothered either way anymore, and I quite like the position I'm in. Do I miss being passionate about football? No, not really. It's nice to have something passionate to be about. It's nice to have something to be passionate about, but it's not football for me anymore. I mentioned to Paddy and Tom that I like watching other sports. I like watching American football, ice hockey. I like watching international football. I'm going to be watching the women's football, the Women's Euro Cup finals. I'm genuinely intrigued to see if England can beat Germany. It's not the same sort of rival. Germany doesn't consider England as a rival. In football, Germany doesn't think, oh, we must beat England. They don't actually care. Only we seem to care about beating Germany. I don't know why, but we do. It just so happens that it's fate that it's the England women versus the German women. The clash of the titans, as the immovable objects of the England's women's squad come up against the unstoppable force of Germany. It should be a good game though. There's been lots of goals. Hopefully the England ladies do it. The England women do it. I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to watch it on stream. I'm going to end this part of the podcast. But if you are listening on YouTube and you want to take part live during the podcast and be welcome onto the show and have a chat, you're more than welcome. We have a Discord. We have Twitter. We have TikTok. We have all of these social medias. But if you want to actively take part, if you join our Discord, I will put the link in the description below. I will put a link to all of our social medias below. The podcasts start every day. If there are delays, then it might be a little bit later, but most of the time we start at 1 p.m. GMT. That's when the podcast starts. So if you want to tune in, take part, have a chat, it's 1 p.m. GMT or 1 p.m. British summertime at the moment. 8 a.m. Eastern Seaboard or Eastern Summertime. 2 p.m. Central Europe time, Europe summertime. 9 p.m. Beijing and 10 p.m. Australia. That wasn't me trying to do an Australian accent. I don't know what I decided to do. G'day, mate. It's 10 p.m. here. You're more than welcome to take part. The more the merrier. The more people with thoughts and feelings of their own, the more opinions, opposing or otherwise. Again, welcome. It'll be good to hear from you. And yeah, same time, same place tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Monday, the 1st of August. Monday, the 1st of August. And right at the start of summertime for the UK. So, well, summer holidays, I should say. So, thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye.